All right, this week's Tuesday Blues is a nice, snappy country blues picking deal, but I really want to focus on the fact that it all happens without doing any wide stretches on the fretboard. As a matter of fact, this takes place within a 3-fret range, which should be nice and compact and pretty comfortable. And the reason that I want to focus your attention on that is that over the last several years, I've heard from a lot of BGIers that have suffered a stroke, or that they're aging and perhaps arthritis is setting in, or maybe their hands are just not strong enough for whatever reason to do large stretches. And if you follow Tuesday Blues, you'll know that I often do these 4-fret stretches like this long A, or like this shuffle on the B5. Those are tough for a lot of people. They were tough for me as a beginner, but if you are unable physically to work past those, that doesn't preclude you from playing some great blues, and that's what this lesson is about. So let's grab the guitar and let's fret up an A major, and we're going to dive right into this snappy blues picking, country blues picking deal that I've got for you in this week's Tuesday Blues. All right, so like I said, we're going to fret up this A major. This is an A major triad, and it's happening on the 7th, 6th, and 5th fret of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. All right, and we're going to do an alternating bass throughout this with the 5th and 4th strings. And then here comes the melody. That's the first part of this in A. So let's take a pretty close look at how these notes sort of work together. Again, we're keeping the bass line going. We're pinching on the 5th and 2nd strings, then putting my pinky down on the 7th fret and pinching with the 4th string. Then I'm moving my index finger to the 1st string, 5th fret, and pinching with the 5th string. So far we've got, and then on the and of 3, so 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put my pinky down on this 7th fret on the 2nd string this time. And I'm playing that by itself. There's no bass note there. But then on the 4th beat, we're going to hit the 4th string for the bass. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then on the and of 4, I'm going to hit this 3rd string, which is held down under the chord. And then we're going to start out the top of bar 2 by pinch on the 5th and 2nd strings. And then on the and of 1, and, I'm going to put my pinky back on this 2nd string, 7th fret, 1 and, hit the bass for beat 2, 1 and 2 and. And on that and, I'm moving again to this high note here, which is a high A note on the 1st string, 5th fret, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 and. And then we finish out with just the bass. All right, be sure to grab the tab so that you can really get inside the notes here and see what the picking looks like. But we're going to move on right now, and what we're going to do is enter into another 2-bar set on the A chord, and the first part's going to look a little familiar to you. It sounds like this. But then we're going to walk the last bit of the melody sort of backwards. Remember, we just had this. So that last part is bum, bum, bum. Well, what we want to do this time to finish it out is kind of tailor a little response to that, and we're going to work it backwards. So we're going to go. And that's going to wrap up 4 bars on the A part. Let me play it slowly for you. Alright, so let's talk about this D chord. I'm fretting up a D major triad on the top 3 strings, And the way I'm doing that is with my ring finger on the 7th fret, 3rd string. My pinky finger comes in behind on the 2nd string, 7th fret, and then my index finger is here on the 5th fret, 1st string. So that's a nice D major triad. And our alternating bass is still going to be 5-4. Both of those notes work beautifully over this D chord. All right, so let's take a listen at the melody here. So the melody stripped down is just this. And you get that melody going on top of the alternating bass. And you can tell there's very little movement here again in making that melody come to life. But there's one little tricky part, and it comes as a result of how I'm fretting up this D major triad. So in order to hit this note on the 7th fret, 1st string, I flatten out my pinky and then bounce back, pick it up and put it down. And that works for me. That's just kind of comfortable. It's something that I find is pretty efficient. But if you're unable to do this, because that does require some flexibility in your first joint on your pinky finger, you can certainly fret this chord in a different manner, which might be a little easier. Something like this, where my pinky is really free to come down and handle that melody all by itself. The choice is yours, and just because I play a chord a certain way, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to you. It can give you some guidance, but ultimately what matters is, can you get a good sound out of the guitar? So if you need to refinger this way, then certainly do that, whatever it takes to get this sounding good. All right, so the melody that happens over the D chord alternating bass is just a very simple 3-note deal. Just like that. And once you've got that down, then it's time to go back to the A, that little 2-bar bit, which sets us up nicely for the E7. And this E7 is super cool, and it happens to take place within this 3-fret range, just as our A and our D. It's a super cool chord. I love this shape for the E7. So let's take a look at how I'm fretting this. I've got my middle finger leading off here, 6th fret, 4th string. Index finger is on the 2nd fret, 2nd string, 5th fret. My ring finger is here on the 3rd string, 7th fret, and then my pinky's on the 7th fret of the 1st string. All right, super cool. So the melody that I'm picking out over the E chord is this. And then after that sequence, I'm going to move right back into the D chord and then wrap up on our A. So those are the main parts. I've got this A bit, the D, back to the A, and then the E, then back to the D, and I really encourage you to pick up the tab for this so that you can get a little deeper into the picking. We move kind of briskly through a couple of parts there, but go back to the website and become a free member if you're not already. I give away the tab to all the free members, and that way you can print out the tab or pull it up on a screen and practice along, and that's really going to help you get down the timing of what I'm playing here. So I really encourage you to do that. It's a great practice tool, and I also really hope that you can see the potential for playing some great country blues without a lot of fancy wide stretch. Hope you really enjoy this lesson. I'd love to know what you think about it. I'd love to know if this helps you, if you're one of those pickers that struggles with wide stretches. So definitely let me hear about it, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much.